Am I the asshole for telling the mom that I don't care about her daughter being dumped by my son? My son Dylan dated Melanie since the 10th grade. They are now juniors. Dylan dumped her last week and Melanie took it hard. I got a text yesterday from Melanie's mom to call her. She wanted me to bring back Melanie's sweater that she left at our house a couple of weeks ago. I said sure. I told her she could pick it up. The mom came and said that I should talk to Dylan about how much he hurt Melanie. Melanie was very attached to my son and my son broke up with her in the wrong way. I told her I wasn't talking to my son about anything. They're high schoolers and stuff like this happens all the time and Melanie isn't special. My son doesn't owe you or Melanie an apology for not wanting to date her anymore. Dylan wasn't mean about it. He just said that he didn't want to be in a relationship because he wanted to spend more time with his friends. The mom said that was BS. I said I don't care. He doesn't need a reason. It's none of your business. She asked me if I cared about how my son treated his girlfriends. I said, do you care how your daughter treat their boyfriends? She said it was different. I told her I had nothing left to say except I don't care about her or her daughter. Edit. Not that it matters, but I'm not the mom. So not the asshole, but that woman is. If he mistreated her during the relationship, then that should be the issue, but this woman is saying your son mistreated her because he dumped her. This woman needs to talk to her daughter and teach her she can't have everything in life and there will be times where she will be hurt and disappointed and this is one of those times. Sounds like she spoils her daughter so much that she'll do anything to appease her, even attempt to force a reconciliation. Your son made a choice for himself, and if Melanie and her mother don't like it, too bad. I'm gonna say not the asshole if I understand correctly. It sounds like the girlfriend mom said that his reason, wishing to spend time with his friends, was BS. But if that is the reason he gave, then to me it sounds like he was kind and you were right, he doesn't have to defend his reason. Now if she was actually claiming that the bullshit was that he was intentionally cruel in some way, I'd give her a listen and get a fuller account and consider telling your son what she claimed and see how he reacted. Sometimes teenagers do need to be reminded to be kind and treat people well. But people have every right to break up with their BFs and at that age it's gonna happen. And from what you have said, it sounds like the girlfriend and her mom need to learn that lesson. I mean, you're not the asshole for high schoolers breaking up, whatever. But you're a total asshole for how you spoke to another parent, the parent of a girl your son was dating. You just seem like you're an asshole in general from this honestly. You really need to work on your empathy in general, and choosing your words. You seriously said your son dumped his girlfriend? That's harsh. And you told a woman her daughter isn't special? I mean, do you actually think before you speak, or do you just let mean things come out of your mouth as soon as they pop in your head? Other people have feelings. If your son learned this from you, then I can totally see him being very rude in the breakup. There's a difference between, I miss seeing my friends, and I don't want to be in a romantic relationship right now, and, I'm wasting all my time doing stupid stuff with you, and I never see my friends. I'm dumping you. Words matter. I feel like something just doesn't add up. The other mom is in protective mode, and yeah, being a bit of an asshole telling you what to do. Because her daughter has probably come home crying her eyes out and showed her certain texts or things about how it happened. For whatever reason, the mom is convinced that your son was out of line in his behavior. That should at least spark a curiosity to where you chat to him and inquire more. Your indifference to the feelings and behavior of young impressionable teens and your lack of interest in helping them navigate emotional situations is kind of worrying. Telling someone's mom her daughter isn't special shows a lot about you emo. She may have been an ass, but you were a bigger one. Did it occur to you to ask more about how exactly he broke up with her that was the wrong way? Or did you just dismiss her out of hand as you stated in the post? They dated for a year-ish? That is a long time at that age. And you don't know her or care about her at all? You told her mom she's not special? Just based on your comments I'm going to go ahead and label this as you are the asshole. I have no doubt your son picked up some toxic ideas about women from you if you think rape is comparable to credit card debt. Am I the asshole for reminding my dad he didn't pay child support? Growing up I never really knew my dad. He was in and out of the picture and later years him and my mom would argue over his jail time for not paying child support. My mom died and I live in her house with my girlfriend and her child. In my adult life my relationship has been the same with my dad. He reached out after my mom's death but he never really made the effort and it always felt that if he tried to have a relationship with me it was always for a new girlfriend or wife benefit not mine. My dad recently had a bed wreck and his apartment only had stairs. Him and his new wife acted like they will move into my home since it's an old school ranch house. All one floor. I told him no. He asked me why I didn't trust him and he would pay rent. I told him why would I trust him to pay rent when he never paid my mom child support for years. His wife told me that was a rude thing to say. I told maybe they should ask one of her kids, She has 5, or one of my dad's 3 other kids because of one of 9 I'm not stepping up to help because my dad has never helped me. They accused me of dragging up their past and I told them their attitude is not going to mesh with mine long term. I was asked to leave the hospital because I was upsetting them while my dad was still there. Not the asshole at all. He didn't pay child support, he didn't take care of you as a child, nor did he try and cultivate a relationship with you once you were an adult. But now he needs something, so obviously you should bend over backwards to accommodate him and his new wife. Fuck that. Tell him he's got 8 other kids he can live with. Not the asshole. He'll move in and he'll find all kind of reasons not to pay rent. It will blow up and you will be the bad guy for tossing your disabled parent out. Just tell him and his wife no and get the ungrateful child out of the way before you have to suffer and then do the same thing anyway. Not the asshole. Stop bringing up the past. Well, I am your past and you've never been present, so why would you be in my future? Not the asshole. It wasn't a rude thing to say. Failing to pay child support was a rude thing to do. Don't let them gaslight you into letting them mooch off of you. Not the asshole. It was a very germane point. It's not even a malicious thing, essentially like a creditor refusing to extend more credit due to poor prior credit history. You don't trust him to pay rent because he didn't pay his child support. Making decisions based on someone's prior acts toward you isn't dragging up the past, it's simply being prudent. OP's dad has shown that he can't be trusted. He and his wife have some nerve to invite themselves to live with him. Not the asshole. Am I the asshole for not chasing down the waitress? So I'm at a Tex-Mex joint with my husband and 2 teenage kids. The service and food was decent and we were having a pretty good time. Out of nowhere a party of 30 walk in, sending our waitress into a tailspin. It took her a few extra minutes to get my husband's second beer, so he was getting annoyed. Then he got even more annoyed when it took some extra time for her to return to our table with the check. He shoved his debit card in her hand as she walked by and then got more irritated when she didn't come back with it right away. He was trying to force me or my kids to go chase her down to get the card back, but we were hesitant to make a scene, especially because she was running around like a chicken trying to get drinks to the additional tables. Finally, 5 minutes later she came back with his card and we left, and he was ranting and raving the whole time home about how unacceptable the service was and was really mad at me for not trying hard enough to get the check in a timely manner. He ruined our night and thinks I owe him an apology for not sticking up for him. Not the asshole. Maybe he was having a bad day, but ruining the night for the rest of the family isn't the best way to handle that situation. Service people get paid poorly and an unexpected large table is a strain on already short resources. The waitress was doing the best she could. 5-10 minutes wait is not that big of a deal unless you need to go somewhere else, and in that case you should budget more time. After visiting Canada, I don't understand why the US is so backward that they can't bring a card reader to the table like they do there. Would solve so many problems including this one. You're not the asshole, but your husband sounds like one. Why couldn't he chase her down if it was so important to him? I hope this is a one-off and not a regular occurrence because you literally did nothing wrong. Hi op, are you sure he's a grown man, not a 5Y? Oh. Who needs his mom to show him how to stand up for himself? He made it into the restaurant, so it is fair to expect he can follow the waitress himself to the register. Tell him to man up and move on from your case. Sorry, was there a piano tied to his leg? Sounds like he should not be allowed to drink in public. Not the asshole. If he wanted it back that bad he could have gotten up and went over to her. Not the asshole, and as the mom of one current server and other former servers, your husband only made the situation worse. Am I the asshole for telling my aunt who actually watched her dog and taking the payment for it? Am I the asshole? I'm Matilda, 25, and I live with my partner Gregory, 29. We don't have a dog, but we both love them. My sister, Sophia, 39, agreed to watch our Aunt Kathy's 2 dogs, Wilbur, a husky mix, and Alfred, a Great Dane, for 4 months while Kathy and her husband were abroad. Kathy offered $6,000 for the job. My sister is in debt and needed the money, but didn't consult her husband before accepting the offer. Sophia quickly realized that the dogs wouldn't fit in her townhouse and begged me to let them stay in our backyard overnight while she figured things out. Once the dogs were here, she left and told me I was now watching them for 4 months. She promised to give me part of the payment. I tried calling her, but she didn't answer. Her husband told me he refused to have the dogs in their house for that long. I reached out to other family members, but they all refused. So Gregory and I decided to take on the responsibility, even though we had to cancel our Christmas plans. On the second day of Kathy's trip, I called her to explain the situation. I told her we were taking care of the dogs but needed money for food and supplies, as Alfred eats a lot. Kathy was horrified and said Sophia had already been paid $6,000, plus $1,000 for food. She immediately called Sophia, screamed at her, and demanded she return all the money. Kathy then sent me $8,000 to compensate us for taking care of the dogs. Sophia called me in tears, saying they had used the money to pay bills and had to take $7,000 out of their savings. I told her I wasn't going to feel guilty because she lied and left me to handle the dogs for 4 months without considering my own plans. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. LMAO. So Sophia didn't do the job she took on, tried to get paid for it, and then complained when she got found out and needed to give back the money. A shame. What she does with her finances aren't your responsibility, so it's fine if you don't feel bad. To be honest, it's not your fault she was in debt, I assume. Your sister was going to keep all the money for the job that she pawned off on you, and you are wondering if you were the for not letting her screw you? This is terrible of your sister all the way through. There's no way someone who says, surprise, you have a Great Dane and a Husky for the next 4 months is going to be the hero of the story, but the fact that your sister had $7,000 in savings to pay her bills when she needed to means she wasn't doing this out of desperation. She's just an not the asshole, and ultimately it's a very good thing Wilbur and Alfred have a safe and caring place to stay. Your sister is a liar and a thief. I think you handled this perfectly, and now your family, at least some of them, are aware of how dishonest and unethical your sister is. Not the asshole. And it was really kind of you and your husband to take care of the dogs when your sister abandoned them. Oh God, what the hell else has your sister taken advantage of you for? This is ridiculous. She was using you to get $7,000 for free while you had to take care of 2 dogs, one of which is a Great Dane. Your sister fucking sucks. She spent all the money, so she was never even gonna give you half. She was probably gonna passively guilt trip you into telling her to keep it all. Why would she even be entitled to half of the money if you were doing all the work? She also lied to you to get the dogs in your house in the first place. I bet she knew from the start she shouldn't have them in her house at all. She tried grift, you don't fucking let her. Not the asshole. What your sister did was totally unfair. She tricked you into taking the dogs and left you high and dry. I'm glad you were able to speak with your aunt and let her know the truth.